Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders would like to welcome entrepreneur, national recording artist, speaker, coach, and co-host for the national TV show, The American Dream, Amy Scruggs. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you. So excited to be here today. Thank you.
So Amy, firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on all your achievements. And can you please share with us how your entrepreneurial journey started?
Well, I appreciate that. And it's funny because looking from the inside out, it's like, wow, I don't view it that way. I feel like it's a moving diary that has some amazing moments and now things that I'm proud of and love to share. But it really started from just tenacity, and I sometimes I almost say starvation. I think that's where some of our greatest launches come from is just saying, wow, I need to go make this happen. And so my business journey started in 2001 when I had kids to feed. I had 3 kids at the time and started in the mortgage industry and was just proud to succeed. I had people that took me under their wing when I didn't have the experience to get the job that I got, and I was so honored to make them proud. The woman that took me under her wing, that I ended up becoming top sales, I think, just to thank her, and it ended up benefiting me. And so I was able to acquire business skills and had years out in Southern California learning business skills, being on a wholesale end of the banking business and a very male-dominated industry, and learning how to maneuver my way through. And I think, and that was in my late 20s into my early 30s. And so I got my start there. And as the mortgage industry collapsed in 2008, 2007 really, and I'd also had health issues at the same time. Again, there's that hunger that says, wow, we're going to make this and we're going to survive this. And there's a time like we are in with COVID now that you have to shift. You have to make adjustments and go, am I going to drown? Am I going to just sit here and be a sob story, or am I going to recreate myself? And I had been singing and performing my entire life. I'd had the opportunity to go to Nashville in 2004 and meet some incredible people. It gave me some amazing opportunities and introductions, and I was recording. And so I had already started working on my music career. I had been performing all over Southern California for years and in cover bands and at the church. And so I had my background in music and learned some things in Nashville while I was still in the mortgage industry. So when the mortgage industry disappeared, I said, it's time to shift. And so I set a goal of saying, well, they call it music business for a reason. If you don't run it like a business, you're going to get eaten alive. 100%. And so I put together a business plan. And 6 months later, I had the opportunity to be the opening act for Clint Black in Camp Verde, Arizona on the 4th of July. And I knew that was going to be what I needed. It was an incredible opportunity, and I used that opportunity to create more opportunities. And at that point then, with 4 kids in tow, I went out and started asking for the business and touring as a recording artist, as my own manager, my own agent, and ended up being able to open for some of the greatest artists in country music. I was able to have my passion working with the military. I know we'll talk about that later, but just putting a business plan together, asking for the business, and accepting the no's and going and finding the yeses, we made it happen during the recession, and I'm very proud of the experiences that we had.
Yes, amazing. So your career has really been diverse and colorful. Can you share with us more about becoming a national recording artist and getting your start in country music?
It's funny. I can sum it up in a phrase that I teach when I'm doing my speaking, that sometimes you just show up. You don't know what life holds for you. You might be like, I'm supposed to go meet this person, or I need to go to this business meeting, and you don't feel like going. But sometimes showing up, you may meet somebody that turns a corner of your life down a path you didn't see coming. And 100%. That's literally what happened for me. My opportunity in Nashville was literally just dumb luck of being in the right place at the right time and meeting the right person. I was actually just there as a tourist with my family when I met the right people. Yes. And then it's knowing how to decipher and discern and say, well, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to do my due diligence, but there may be something here that then I can still go make myself stand out. And so just showing up. And if it fails, it fails, because, okay, then at least I know that's not a path I'm supposed to be on. And so I kept taking these opportunities of, well, let's try that. Let's see if that works. All right, let's do that. And I was able to record and do some and start that process before the recession that I thought was going to go a whole other direction. And life has a funny way of showing us that, no, you're going to take a different path. It wasn't going to be what I thought it was, but I never gave up. And when the door got closed, I realized, okay, that's telling me something, and it's time to find something new. And so I always kept singing. I always kept performing locally because I knew that I needed to keep my craft. I needed to keep meeting people, and relationships was where it was going to happen. And so one by one, one person, one handshake, one performance at a time, I kept meeting people that then would open up another door for me. And I think it was my ability to not put an expectation on it that maybe was unrealistic, and just keep accepting with what I had and saying, let's create a new plan with what's in my hands.
Yes, absolutely. So what would you say some of your biggest lessons and learnings have been within your career, or have there been a series of them?
I think not turning it into something of what I think it's supposed to be. Well, if it doesn't look like this, we have this fantasy. We watch too much movies and we watch too much reality TV, right? And so I think that taking a fantasy off and saying, well, it's not expecting it to be this, American Idol moment or, America's Got Talent moment, that this is actually hard work and persevering, no different than it was in business and sales. And I think for me, the lesson was staying focused, again, like what I had in my hands, what's in front of me, what can I work with? Well, I have these tools and these resources in my hand. What network of people do I have around me? How can I, help them? How can I serve here to help open, and have doors open here? And I think that keeping that mindset of knowing that steps and seeds that we plant today, I may not see till 10 years from now. And honestly, that's what's happened. There's no such thing as an overnight success. They always call it, the 7-10 year overnight success. I know that things that I'm doing now are because of a seed I planted in 2008 when I was hungry, when our mortgage industry had disappeared, when I, had to go out and forge my way, when I was volunteering, when my kids and I were serving at the USO and cleaning up trash for the troops. So that opened up doors to perform for the USO or for the AMVETS. And so I think that lesson for me was seeing what's in front of me and know that you do the right thing every time. There are no shortcuts.
Exactly.
It'll pay off. And if it doesn't, then the journey was still the success anyways. The journey was the success.
Yeah.
People measure success by monetary. And I think that my lesson in business is my success is, what do I feel like? Who have I blessed? What have I learned and grown? And what have I modeled, especially to my children? And that by itself is a success.
Absolutely. So you're classically trained as a pianist and a vocalist. How important was it when growing up, and has it given you a unique advantage in terms of, because I know some people will focus on one thing, but, I think from an industry perspective, you have to be, multi-talented, multi-skilled. So do you think that gave you an advantage?
Absolutely. It's funny. We see a lot of, I almost want to say, karaoke singers or people that are great in the shower that think they can go be a recording artist. And I did, classical vocal training since I was 10. I started the piano when I was 3. I actually sat down and my parents found me we were at a friend's house, and they found me at the piano at 3 years old playing by ear. And they went, oh, she might be telling us something. So they took me to a piano teacher that said, her fingers are too small. I can't teach her this young. Bring her back when she's 5. And so they did. They brought me back when I was 5. And so I took 10 years of classical training. And I hated it. Let me tell you, I hated the classical training. I fought it. I had an instinct that I wanted to play what I wanted to play. But boy, am I thankful that my parents instilled that discipline, because that discipline of doing classical training or singing songs I didn't want to sing in classical voice that I felt was just old-fashioned. Wow, did that teach me discipline? Because if you fast forward and look at business and building any business or in my music career, you got to do a lot of things you don't want to do that are about discipline, because there's only the brief moments that's the reward. When I'm standing on a stadium stage or a national stage, well, that's what, 30 minutes of a beautiful reward from all those years of discipline. And if we don't see the discipline as the main value, then you never appreciate the reward. And so I am very grateful for the classical training, the musical training, that I can be taken seriously, It's very difficult as a woman to be taken seriously. You know, if you look pretty and you look nice and I've got my makeup on and a cute outfit, then I am definitely stupid. It's just automatically presumed.
Yeah, 100%.
But yet you have to have the look in order to do it as well. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword there. Well, I better look a certain way and keep myself fit and nice and look pretty and classy, and yet then that means I have to prove 10 times harder that I have business training and that I've been an executive and that I do have classical music training. It really is a challenge that it continues to this day. I still fight this battle constantly, but I've learned to have a sense of humor with it, and I hope that I can help empower other women to say it's okay. You keep pushing through. We keep pushing through until it changes someday. You keep pushing through, and you just do it.
Absolutely. So when you started in the music industry, were you business savvy, or did you have a good team of people around you? We know the music industry is very competitive and cutthroat and requires a huge amount of discipline. So what would you say has helped you to create and sustain such a long career in the industry?
I am grateful for the business training I had in wholesale mortgage. I think that being a sales rep, being in a large national bank that was male driven, I definitely believe that business, that learning how to go out and ask the business was what made it different. Because music business is a business. You're going to get eaten alive. A lot of beautiful, wonderful, talented artists out there that don't know they have to run it like a business. And then there's also, on the flip side, as you asked me about, a team of people. I didn't have the resources as a team of people. I had 4 kids trying to keep food on the table, and we were in the middle of a huge recession at the time. And so I didn't have people. I realized that I needed to be my own people. And this was also prior to the technology we have today. I didn't have a bunch of systems that could interface. I mean, Facebook wasn't even a marketing tool at that time. It was just something you found your high school classmates on. And so but I utilized the resources we had at the time. I mean, boy, I figured out how to code and build my own website, you know, when I had to do it a certain way. You know, I was figuring out how to do this and manage a career and negotiate contracts as a one-armed band. And that was very difficult. I would have loved to have said yes. I had a team of people. I had managers and publicists and other people guiding me. I didn't have it. But what I didn't want to do was see that I didn't have those things, and so then I'm not going to do it. I didn't let it stop me. And I think there's almost insanity in it, that it's like, well, I guess ignorance was bliss. So I had the business savvy, but I think part of me was just ignorant enough to not realize that I was, like, you know, pushing a stone uphill. But it's funny, even to sum up, my daughter said something to me last night. She goes, Mom, but boy, the stories you have, you wouldn't change a bit of it. Because
it's made you who and shaped who you are today. So
absolutely. But I did have to manage it myself, and I had to create my own staff with fictitious names in order to get the job done. Sometimes I had, you know, I would call as someone else to get things handled, to be taken seriously, because you can't represent yourself as an artist. And I figured that out the hard way real quick. And so I learned how to get the job done and get contracts done and make it look like there was a team of 20 people behind me, and they never knew it was me behind me.
Yes, absolutely. So what have some of your biggest career highlights been?
Oh, I can answer that in 2 different ways. There's the moments of just pride when I've stood at a Wounded Warrior event or a command change ceremony. There's no cameras, there's no press, there's no nothing, and there might only be 100 friends and family. But the honor of standing there and singing the national anthem to a soldier that has just come home injured, to stand there and honor a soldier that has just led his command, and he's now stepping down and handing it to someone else, to watch that beautiful ceremony take place. I have sung at ship commissionings. I have sung at deployments. To sing the national anthem as you're sending them off for a deployment. To stand at the coming homes and see them embrace their family as they come back. those are career highlights that only I got to really see and experience. That like I said, there wasn't cameras and press there. I don't have footage that you can find on YouTube, but I have moments and memories that I say most people never get to see. As a civilian, I got to see and do things that most people don't get to see, and I think that those were my greatest highlights. On the other side, as an artist, getting to stand on the stage for legends that I grew up listening to in country music, artists that I idolized, Charlie Daniels, Clint Black, Trace Adkins, Little Texas. I mean, to know that I had the opportunity to stand there and open a show and be a part of something that I had grown up as a kid saying, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that someday. And everybody told me I was crazy. And to look back and say, I did it. I did it. And those, I believe, were the gift. Those were the blessings. Those are the moments that I feel were handed to me as there you go, Amy, atta girl. Thanks for your service over there. Thanks for everything I was doing behind the scenes. I felt those were such a beautiful, precious gift. And I look back at every one of those moments on those stages. And in the later shows, I got to share those stages with my oldest son. My son, Ryan, is my lead guitar player. And so at 18, he joined me on the road. And like when we opened for Trace Adkins, to see the look on his face as he's standing there leading the band, leading the team, as we're in front of a crowd of 20,000 people, and to share that with my son, who had struggled with me over those years. We had been through everything together. To share that with him, that is the greatest moment any parent could ever experience, and most would never know and understand. And we have that for life together, regardless of whatever's ahead in the future. We have that for life.
Such a beautiful memory too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you've diversified within your career, expanding into speaking and coaching, and a national TV host. So was this an organic process for you, or was it not something?
Completely organic. I think it's another example of just show up. There's so many days, when the rug gets ripped out from underneath what looks like, really great on my Facebook graphics, and you look at my page and wow, look at, she's doing this. Let me tell you, that is just another example of showing up, doing the right thing, meeting the right people. And I had, after 2011, we went through some tragedies. That we were still performing full time, but we lost our home. And our bass player died suddenly of a heart attack at 40. And I pulled the plug on music for a while. And I said, I need to grieve. This is too much going on at one time. Again, it's time to shift. It's time to know when it's time to pull back, or else I'm going to, so that I become better, not bitter, right? I think that's always something I have to check. Am I going to become bitter, or am I going to become better? And what's it going to take to be better? So that's when I re-entered the mortgage world in San Diego and was able to step into business development, back in my business shoes, still singing on the side, but I reversed order again. And then working with teams and building teams and working with amazing people in San Diego, that one day one of them says, hey, I need you to meet somebody, and recommended me to where I am now as a TV host for the American Dream TV. It was again, just showing up, doing the right thing, and connecting with the right people for the right reasons, that you never know who's going to open a door for you. And that's what I love. I look back and go, what a blessing. I didn't see that coming. Wow, I remember when I lost everything and I thought, how am I going to clean this mess up? And I just had such a peace that just keep doing the right thing, go in the right direction, and watch what's ahead for you. And I would have never dreamed that I'd have the opportunity now to be hosting TV and interviewing business professionals and top real estate agents from around the country and entrepreneurs. And it's really incredible that I now get to take those two worlds, because I'm comfortable in front of camera, I'm comfortable speaking, and to take the two worlds and then put them together. I'm like, wow, I didn't see that. I didn't design that in the business plan, but boy, isn't that beautiful. But knowing when to take the opportunity when it's in front of you, even when everybody says you're crazy, I think was a valuable tool. I think I'm just crazy enough to say, yeah, I'll try that. Hey, why not? Who cares if it doesn't work? Who cares if it doesn't work? Then I know, well, don't do that again, and we find what does work. Not getting stuck in I have to do one thing my entire life, and it needs to look a certain way. People get stuck in this one, like, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be that, and it's going to look like this for 30 years. And it never does. Life happens. Life happens.
Exactly.
if we're in a time in our world right now, if people don't see that, wow, life happens and hits you when you don't know it's coming. And what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be bitter or are you going to be better? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was given that opportunity. So of course that leads into speaking and coaching, because then I get to help people be better.
Yes. So that leads me to the next question. The world of coaching is really oversaturated. So what do you believe makes you different from your competitors? And can you share with us more about this and give us an example of how your clients have really benefited from your coaching?
Yes, I love it. You're right. This coaching is way oversaturated, and definitely people have a large, broad coaching, like I do coaching. Okay. I had to stop and really realize, what is it that, where's my lane? Because I don't want to take business from anybody else. I have amazing coaches that I've been able to meet and be under. I still get coaching constantly. I'm always, I always want that accountability and that growth and new tools and skills, because how can I pass that on? But I realized with my crazy multiple career, I am really great at helping entrepreneurs, and especially the real estate and mortgage community, helping them be on camera, even if that's just for their own videos or their listing appointments, or because they're on the American Dream TV, or with a Zoom world, everybody's on camera. And it's amazing how many people freeze up. You can meet the strongest, most confident professional. And I won't name names, but an example, about a year ago, I had the opportunity. I was with one of my clients, actually helping her on an assignment she had to do, and I was helping there as her speaking coach, because she had to do public speaking and she was terrified. Really confident, amazing woman, but okay, don't put me in front of an audience, I'm going to crumble. No, I'm here for you. We're going to write this together. We're going to do this together. Well, I had the opportunity to just show up, bump into the CEO of this very large real estate company. I said, I want to interview you. They had a studio there, and he looked at me like I'm crazy. I said, no. He goes, well, I only have 5 minutes. I said, that's okay. I can do it in 3. And they mic'd him up, and he gave me the interview. I'm going to take an opportunity to interview this incredible entrepreneur CEO of this huge real estate company, international real estate company. And what I loved was when I sat down, that he was no different than any other client. He was nervous in the chair. What questions are you going to ask? Okay, there was this almost where I was like, no, it's okay. I've got you. I promise. I'll just keep it to this, this, and this. Follow my lead. And even in that moment, I was coaching. I was saying, let me bring out the best in you.
Exactly.
It is my turn to help you tell your story. And we're going to do it in 3 minutes. And so teaching people how to get their message in sometimes 3 to 5 minutes. What is your message? I can pull out of them. Now, does it end up leading into some life coaching? Because a lot of times there might be blocking there. People uncomfortable with how they look or how they feel or how they speak. There might be, there's always something underneath the surface that we can pull out. Sometimes it's just tips and tools, and they don't need to pull out something from underneath the surface. But for me, I feel like my calm sense, I'm very calm. I'm very easygoing.
Yes.
And I love people. And it's my turn now to just say, how can I help them shine? How can I give them tools I wish somebody had given me back then? Yes. And so I really love just helping people become their best when they need to be in front of a camera or speaking in front of a group. I've had a chance to speak at some colleges, and helping young adults know, how do you interview? How do you look somebody in the eye and shake their hand? Well, when we could shake hands. But how do you look somebody in the eye? How do you answer these questions? How do you be articulate? And if that is my lane of just helping people articulate and tell their story, then I know I've done the right thing. And everything from before has led to this, to say, wow, I get to touch lives in such a unique way.
That's amazing. So that leads me to leadership. So leadership is a big subject at the moment, or lack of leadership. So what do you believe is different about your leadership style, and what do you believe needs to change the current narrative, both for an entrepreneur or from an entrepreneurial and global perspective?
The first thing I'm going to say that's different is I'm a woman. It's hard. We're still, people think leaders, and automatically I think there's a picture of a man. And there's so amazing women out there, so many amazing leaders out there. For myself, the one thing, and I don't bring any ego in. Yes. And you have compassion and empathy.
Anymore.
Yes. I think that the strongest leaders, if you look out throughout world leaders, throughout history, the strongest ones that made a difference actually were the most humble.
Yes.
You have to learn to listen before you speak, to really see what's going on with someone. A leader is someone that says, I want to build you up.
Yes.
And I really believe that is my passion. I do it with my kids. I do it with their friends. I do it with my colleagues to say, how can I help build you up? How can I serve you today in my coaching and my speaking? I'll read my audience. Okay, what is it? Am I noticing they're uncomfortable? Do we need to go a different direction? How can I want them to leave me better than when they met me.
Yes.
If you leave and say, I'm better because I just knew her for 5 minutes, then I was a leader and I did my job.
Yes. So as you're the co-host of a national show, The American Dream, can you share with us what the show is about and how did this come about for you?
Well, again, that was, just showing up. Somebody recommended me. I got to meet the founder, Craig Sewing. And so this is his show, his creation, his baby. I'm just proud to help him grow something that is so wonderful and bring my skills in to say, how can I be your support system here? So Craig created a show to help. He clears the noise, and it's all positive media. And again, it's entrepreneurs, it's business experts, a lot of real estate, of empowering the American dream. And so he's got partners all over the country that are top in their business, and we interview them, and they get to share their expertise and help empower people for having a piece of the American dream, understand what's going on in business and in the real estate and mortgage industry, and getting to share their experiences. And our job is to bring out the best in them, to showcase some of the greatest communities in America. They interview mayors and restaurants, and it's really wonderful to see what's going on in community with the schools, to talk about current events going on in communities around the nation. And you get people that are experts in their community. What better than the real estate professional that knows everybody in the schools and in the churches and in the town hall to talk about what's going on in their community. And so, and again, with me knowing how to articulate that, I bring that out in them. It's really fun to host and to just help them share their story. And I've met some incredible people. I've made lifelong friends through this journey, all on a Zoom and a Skype screen. And while Craig has gone out, and Craig goes to every one of these cities and knows every one of them and has built this, I'm honored that he handed me the reins to say, I trust you. I trust you with these interviews. I trust you with what I've built. And I'm just proud to be a part of that.
Yes.
And making lifelong friendships. Yeah, it's really amazing.
So as our world has been shaken up and changed due to the dramatic global events such as COVID-19 and others, how as an entrepreneur, or how as an entertainer and entrepreneur, have you had to adapt to this change? And can you give us some examples of the changes you've made?
Yes, this one hit. I think it hit everyone. It's interesting. I felt more in 2008 when the recession hit. I felt like it hit a certain group of us. Some people came out okay, and a lot of us in certain industries didn't. This one is global, and so there's a different perspective that this one is global. And so I think the difference was the empathy of realizing, wow, everybody's going through this. I definitely can't get stuck in my own head of like, oh, whoa, this is happening. I can't go out and speak, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. I stopped. And we all had a few weeks of kind of going, oh, this will blow away. So we're in our slippers and our sweats going, what's going on? You have to go through the shock.
Yes.
And then you get to the next phase that you go, okay, wait a minute. Now what can I do? And I think that's been a powerful thing for me in business all along. There's so much of what I can't do that was always in front of me.
Yeah.
But what can I do? Okay, well, I have a sense of humor, and people don't realize that I think I have a secret dream of wanting to be the next marvelous Miss Maisel. But I said, how can I have my sense of humor during this time, even through social media and through email, and for people to see, just to laugh? Because we're seeing so many posts, and there's fear, and there's political stuff, and there's everything going on, and I don't want to be a part of that. It doesn't mean that I don't have fears. It doesn't mean I don't have days that I'm hurting or, worried about my parents and everything else. But how can I take my sense of humor? And so I really stepped that up a notch for my visibility. And what I've loved, I've been getting incredible feedback. I've been getting personal texts from people I haven't heard from even in years that said, please keep posting. You are cracking me up. I had no idea that you were this funny. And so I shifted and realized, why not just choose to keep putting joy out there? If I'm just one little teeny person here in the world that's at least spreading some joy, even to a small amount of people, then I'm doing my job and I'm shifting during this time.
Yes.
And so now we're on Zoom, and now we're doing great webinars, and I can coach through Zoom. And then I figured out how to do music through Zoom, and I had my son in one house quarantined, and I'm in another house, and I said, well, I know how to video edit. Let's do some music. Let's just have some fun and pick some of our favorite cover songs, and let's just put some music out there. Let's use this time to just breathe. How can we bless others in quarantine?
Yes.
And so we shifted. And now here I am talking to you on this amazing podcast because I was home, because we got to meet each other, because we're visible, and we get to empower people through this incredible show. And again, I want to be better and not bitter. And I think that this time, again, is an example to do that. And hopefully others are as well. And just finding the joy.
Exactly. So you've also served as a spokesperson for the American Veterans of California, and you also have a passion for philanthropy. How did this come about, and where did your passion for giving back come from?
My parents instilled giving back in me, definitely. They raised me red, white, and blue. And something inside of me, I started practicing the national anthem on the fireplace with a hairbrush when I was 4. And something in me knew that I wanted to be a part of honoring our veterans. My dad is a veteran. He served in the Air Force.
Wow.
And so that was definitely, I had grown up knowing that and about his background. And so I wanted to always be a part of that. And I visualized it. And so in 2008, when we were going through that time, and I told the kids, I said, well, we may be struggling, and I've lost my job, and we're doing this, and I'm putting my music career together, but we're still going to serve. And we went to the USO office that was near us where we lived at the time, and we started serving. We served sandwiches and cleaned trash. I wanted my kids to see, how can we serve our military and veterans during this time? And that ended up opening doors for performing. But it was the serving first. I never dreamed it was going to open doors for performing. But once it did, and I started meeting military families, they became a part of my life. I got myself involved as a community partner. And that's when then the AMVETs noticed and said, hey, we would love to have you sing at some of our things. And so I would go and volunteer, and I would sing the anthem, or I would go to the post and do an acoustic concert and bless the veterans at their post. And then they asked me to be the spokesperson for the state of California. And we put together, an agreement. And for 3 years, then there would be events that would call me. There would be a ride to the wall. There was, like I said, command change ceremonies, different things, different posts. And so we would go and we would perform, and we would just bless these veterans. And it grew to where I became known with a lot of the military circuit, especially in Southern California, and have moments that I am so proud of, that I cherish for life. I have memoirs and I have challenge coins that were given to me, and some photos that are just life-changing for me that I get to pass down to my kids and my grandkids. And that I'm proud of. I honored my dad every time I stood on one of those stages. I said, Dad, I promised I would do that. And I got to see and know things that people don't get to see. I'm very, very blessed for that. Very blessed. And so it was very organic, and it came together for serving, doing the right thing, being authentic, building relationships, and then people see you and go, gosh, we want what you have. We want you to come and be with us. And then it just keeps opening new doors, and it keeps growing.
Absolutely. So that leads me to the last 2 questions. What are the 3 key pieces of advice you would give to other entrepreneurs, those who are looking to pursue a career in the entertainment industry, and what legacy would you like to leave?
First, I would tell anybody in the entertainment industry, really any industry that you're trying to get into, is don't let anyone define what success looks like for you. We tend to have these boxes. People, well, it has to look like this because so-and-so looks like that and so-and-so looks like that, but that's what it's supposed to look like. As an artist, as an entrepreneur, don't let anyone define what success is, because I believe that the success of the relationships I build are larger than anything. It just because I didn't have a record deal with Sony, doesn't mean that I'm not successful. I'm successful because I went out and made it happen, and I have memories and moments and experiences that I would never trade. Don't let anyone define success. because I believe that what I was able to do is a success. And so if somebody can be proud and say, well, what am I doing? What did I accomplish today? It might be a small thing. They're working on their business and they accomplished getting their database in order. That is success. That is success because you're working on it. You're building something. My second advice is be a blessing even when it hurts. And especially during this time, it's very easy for all of us during this time to be looking inward and to be protective and in our cocoon and saying, yeah, but it hurts, this hurts, it hurts. Be a blessing when it hurts. Find a way to bless somebody else while we're hurting. Find a way because it will come back to you tenfold. And the third thing I would like to remind everybody is don't try to be somebody else.
Absolutely.
It's okay for us to have mentors and coaches and advisors and say, I want to have that aspect of it. I want to have that characteristic. But don't be anybody else but yourself and be contagious. Find out what part of yourself that's contagious and be that. It's different for everyone. Everyone has different skills, but everybody has something in there that's different from someone else. And when you find what that is and you hone it and you shine it, that's when you can really make it happen.
Absolutely. And what legacy would you like to leave?
I think because I have 4 kids, 3 grown now, I think about that all the time. Joy. I hope that no matter what, through everything we've been through, that they saw my joy. Joy when it hurt. Joy when it was scary. My sense of humor. I want to leave a legacy of looking beyond circumstance, being bigger than circumstance, being better than circumstance, that it didn't ever define me. That my core character of who I am was beyond any circumstance. And if anybody that I touch, anybody that I coach, or my own children, they can do that, they will be very proud of what they've done with their life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So if people want to get in contact with you, what is the best platforms for them to do so?
You can find me on Facebook, Amy Scruggs. You can find me, Amy Scruggs, on Instagram. I'm easy to find on those, amyscruggs.com. And then everything is linked to that, and you can reach me. I answer my messages. I'm reachable. I'm teachable. And I am running webinars and media coaching that somebody can join for very little amount of money and interact with me personally with others and have fun. And so if you go to any of my platforms, you'll see those opportunities, an easy click away, running them ongoing, and would love to meet anybody that wants to join and interact and have some fun and grow and be comfortable and confident with themselves. But amyscruggs.com, and I'm very easy to find.
Well, thank you so much, Amy, and hopefully we can have you back in the future to see where you are in your journey. And
I would love that. Thank you so
much for joining us.
It was an honor, and I thank you so much for having this platform for people to learn and grow from others. It's fantastic. Thank you so much.